I'm Katie Kempner, and this is Perspectives here at Advertising Week. Perspectives is a series of inspiring conversations with remarkable working women who are leading busy and successful lives. And right now, for my very last interview of Advertising Week, no pressure.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I am thrilled to have my good friend, Jessica Reznick, who's the Managing Director of We're Magnetic. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. And your last interview, now that I know that.
Thank you for stopping by.
Great.
So let's talk, well first, for people who might not know, what is We're Magnetic?
Yeah, we are a global experiential partner. We create real-world experiences and engagements for some of the world's top brands and agencies.
Excellent. So you have had a very interesting career, and I've known you for quite a bit of it.
Yes, you have. I've been lucky to know you for most of it, yes.
Ditto. But could you walk us a little bit through your career? Because I think you've done it in a really interesting way, and as you said when we were talking before, you've picked up some really good knowledge all along the way in different ways. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Sure. I think that what's interesting is that I consider myself a little bit a master of none, in the sense that I started with business affairs. I was very lucky. I started right here in New York City, and from there I just had this craving to continue to learn. I was someone who thought I was going to be a lawyer in college, and did a very sharp turn quickly, and I found myself in a creative and inspiring industry where I didn't really know what was available, but I found an in through business affairs, and from there I just wanted to explore. So I worked in business affairs, but I was intrigued by production because we worked closely with producers, and so I started to figure out what else can I learn, and if there was ever slow times at work, I would ask to learn new things about post-production or about out-of-the-box production. And from there, I started to take on more in the production world. And then I started to add my passions in it, which a little bit of art, creativity, and at other agencies, as I moved to Crispin Porter, where we met, 72 and Sunny, I started to do extra activities and events, more culture programs, where I brought art galleries into the agency to help fill the walls. But it was this craving that if you looked around you, there was always more you could learn from people, and there was always more you could do, and I just wanted to kind of get my hands on everything. And I think that's helped me kind of sit at the head of a company today and really understand what each department needs to do and how they need to work together in order to create the most effective thing.
And I think, from what I've seen of your career and know of your career, you've always been very thoughtful about things. You've always made sure to put yourself in positions where you were respected and working with people that you liked. I mean, you've worked at a number of different places.
Yep.
And, as a young woman when you started, and still quite young, but, some women especially, but men too, don't feel that kind of control of their career and aren't quite in the driver's seat. They may have a plan, but they're not in the driver's seat as much as it appears that you've been.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's very important to understand that you are going to get the best performance, in my opinion, from yourself when you're happy and when you're respected and when you're inspired.
Yeah.
And so in order to give your best, you have to be in a place that acknowledges that you can give your best. And so for me, there are a couple places I worked that I absolutely loved where I was. I was at them at the right time in the right place, as the industry would say.
Yeah.
But the experience there for me was I wasn't feeling respected for different reasons. And it could be that I was already doing the work, so they didn't feel the need to go ahead and give me that extra title like somebody else could get. Mm-hmm. But when I found myself in the position, it was hard decisions, but I realized it was probably time to move on. And I think today what we see is, every day I open the trades and there's a new small company being started. Someone broke away from an agency and started their own thing. And all it means is that in this fragmented landscape, we have choices.
Yeah.
And it's important for people to realize they have choices, and the place that they come in every single day, there's going to be bad days, there's going to be good days. But overall, they should feel respected. It should be a two-way street of respect. And I think that's really, really important for people to realize as they're looking for a place to call home, which is what we're all looking for in the job market.
So it's really, I think, what I can glean from what you're saying, it's a combination of constantly challenging yourself,
Yes.
constantly learning, and also feeling respected.
Yes, I think that would summarize it perfectly.
So you're the leader and boss of quite a few people.
Yes.
Are there things that you've done at your company to help create that kind of environment?
Yeah, I think it's something that we're honestly constantly trying to achieve and strive for. There's things we've done well, and there's things we're learning from along the way. One of the things that I've really put a lot of attention to is diversity and women in the workplace. So when I first arrived we're Magnetic, which is a great company and a great culture, but I noticed that I was on the minority side of women. I think there were 3.
So you overcorrected.
So we've overcorrected now, and we are mostly women. But what's interesting is that it's really changed the culture of who we are, and I think for the better. But we've really been self-aware and honest enough, I think, as a company, to look at ourselves. We recently just went through a rebrand. And we started off with designs, and when we looked at it, we realized they were still very masculine. And that didn't actually represent who we were today. It represented who we were 5 years ago when we started. And so we had to sort of start all over and realize that the best way to be who we are and represent it is to acknowledge that we're going to show up that way to the outside as much as the inside. So I think there's definitely little examples every day. There's a lot of, right now, it's a week that we're super busy and we know we're busy. So it's simple little surprise and delight moments. Like we've had, today was chicken and waffle day for lunch. We had nacho bar day yesterday. So we're trying to have, there's more coming that I won't say online, but we're trying to have these little surprise and delight moments throughout people's day because we know it's going to be a hard day.
Yeah.
So we want to give back to them wherever we can and in small ways and large when possible.
That's nice.
Yeah,
it makes it and it's a very, spending time in your offices is a very nice. It feels good in there. The culture is warm.
Yeah, we started. It's a very we like to think of it as a family and a family environment.
Yeah.
And I think we talk about all the good and bad that can come with the love you have with your family.
Yeah.
But when you walk in, we purposely, because we are an experiential firm, we thought of even our office space, which we designed and created ourselves. It is designed to be like a home living room. So when you walk in, you're walking into our home and into our living room. And every decision we made in the design kind of reflects that personality and culture. So I'm glad that you feel that way when you walk in.
So I like to end every interview by just asking if there's one piece of advice that you could share with us that has helped guide you through your career and your life.
What would it be? I think for me the one piece of advice would be comfortable in what you don't know. It's okay to not know something. There's plenty you learn along the way. There's things every day that I'm still learning from everyone around me at every level. And I think that today people are scared to admit that they're not always an expert or they don't always know.
Yeah.
And the best advice you can do in that moment is just raise your hand and say either I don't understand or I don't know. And someone will explain it to you and you'll walk away a better person for it. So that would be my advice, is there's so much going on. Be okay not knowing and be open to the learning that needs to happen as a result.
That's great advice.
Oh, thank you.
That was a great way to end. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for Perspectives here at Advertising Week.